come join me and Nate on this rare
Illegal.
snowy day
Pretty sure that's legal.
for a tour of the mall in East Knoxville,
you're in
Tennessee.
Now, they cannot use it to make money without your permission. That would be illegal.
On November 12th,
Caution, do
we took
not
a trip
enter.
up that way to see the final days of East Town Mall, formerly, or
Okay.
is what is currently known. The owners seemingly couldn't solidify their name since Knoxville Center Mall signage stayed up even after all the years from when they did that back in 2017.
But yeah, when it comes to being recorded or something when you're out in public, what people cannot do is make money on it. Like those people or anything. But if you're just recording it to put a video on YouTube for shits and giggles, or even for your own personal,
Or shenanigans, really. As you can see, it's very loud, but
Otherwise,
nothing else
CCTV.
much there. This is the wing that housed the former Sears and Service merchandise, and even the Millers. A little bit of back history of the mall. It opened back in 1984 as East Town Mall and had 5 anchors. Of the aforementioned places, there was also Profits, JCPenney, and Regal Cinemas. While owned by Simon Property Group, East Town Mall was renovated with a mountaineer fisherman type of aesthetic back in 1997, which you're seeing right now,
These two.
and was given the new name of Knoxville Center Mall. Gone were the fountains, the waterfalls, the planters of old, and brought in mountains, fish, a center court, tented, called Kids Court, Kids Cove, and the local sports team pride in the other side of the wing. As you see in this area, likely notice the walled off space at the end of the walkway. It's where the former Miller's was located. It eventually became Hess's in 1987 and was sold to Dillard's in 1999 since Profits was, I think, transformed into Belk, so they didn't need 2 branded stores. This was the first anchor space to fully vacate the mall back in September of 2008. It's well over a decade ago. And some years after that, it was completely walled off, as you see now. Around that same span of time, Rush Fitness took over the space that housed the former Service merchandise on the upper level and actually used the space on the lower level, which was really empty in the whole existence of the mall, leaving it nice, kind of dark and spooky, as some people have said. Eventually, that got rebranded as a Gold's Gym before that closed up. And as you can see, it's still dark and spooky years after the fact. And no working escalators, of course. In its waning years, Simon sold off the mall to Knoxville Partners LLC back in 2016 and was named back to East Town Mall in 2017. While the name was changed, not much else was. As you can see, I'm up on the Sears and, well, as empty as the mall soul. Really haven't encountered anybody at that point outside of one person walking around just as a mall walker. 2017 turned out to be a trying year for the mall, as during that year, JCPenney was liquidating the location as part of 138 other store closings from that year. It would be the next anchor to close up in September of 2017. Months later, Sears announced that they would be closing 72 stores. And Easttown would lose yet another anchor on September 2nd of 2018. At this point, the only anchors left were really Belk and Regal Cinemas, along with a handful of other stores and a couple eateries. Not much there, really. A year later, Belk announced that they were closing their store in mid-November. Then, on Halloween of that year, Knoxville Partners announced that they were closing the mall for good in early 2020. At the same time, Regal immediately closed the same day without warning. This brings us now to 12 days after the announced closure and when I filmed this video.
You want to vandalize it, wait till it's completely closed so that, you don't fuck it up for other people who want to come.
4 days afterwards,
Because once it's closed,
the belt closed for the last
vandalizing
time.
literally doesn't matter.
Me and my friend Nate were talking about the vandals that were reportedly coming through and just putting graffiti through, and there was some evidence of that. And from what I heard, after this closed, people were breaking in and causing some sort of mayhem and destruction. As to how much damage they've done, I'm not entirely sure,
They shut off the chairs?
because no one's been showing pictures of that, to my knowledge. As you've likely seen, there's really not much going on here. You might see a couple security guards, a couple mall walkers, and a few people visiting the mall for likely their very last time.
Over there.
I at least had some good times here touring through with my friend. We had here like 3 or so hours, maybe, just walking around, talking, getting video and pictures. Since Belk was getting ready to close up, I'm not entirely sure it was because of that or if they were doing it anyways, but there was no outside inner mall access from the Belk to the store. And because it was just 4 days before it closed up, there really wasn't much there, as you can see in this part of the video. A lot of stuff roped off, and really not much in the way of clothing or fixtures. Couldn't even get down to the lower level even if I wanted to, which I did want to. As I've mentioned before, it was very cold in the mall. Like, this was a fresh snow in November, and they didn't have the heating going. Because I have poor circulation in my extremities as is, I couldn't feel my feet for of the mall of just going through here.
I wore a light jacket because I was expecting cold weather, not sub-freezing weather.
I know.
If your feet are getting cold here, it's not probably going to be good. You don't walk around in a place that has no insulation. Just like
And yeah, it was pretty bad there. Hey, slow down. Forward Sabaro.
what other places yeah, it's like that.
And Subway.
Busway?
I don't know.
I don't had Subway in forever either.
Great American Cookies.
Yep. Is that Catholic? Oh.
Sakaru, Japan. Sakura.
So I guess Kate's Cookout is just the name for the whole food court. So,
As we're coming upon the JCPenney wing, you'll see a couple of old gems. And the interesting stuff that was used for national, local sports ball pride. Including a big T. And all sorts of overarching stuff for local pride.
There's a whole area you can be looking at.
If I remember right, the University of Tennessee was the one that managed to get the big old T in the one of the auctions. Along with some of the other stuff up there.
let me get a picture of this from up here.
And as you can see, it's pretty... They put a lot of thought into it, but having the sports ball stuff and then the whole mountaineer fisherman aesthetic and the campsite stuff, I'm not entirely sure what Simon was exactly going for, since they didn't put as much care into this mall as opposed to the one on the west side, which they still own as far as I'm aware of. It's something that I've noticed that's really apparent with Simon based malls. If they don't really do that good, they dump them. Like, yeah, they'll blandify them and transform them.
Yeah, there's little lens crafters in here.
But they'll keep it kind of minimalized,
I guess.
and they don't do much with some of them. A couple of the bigger victims of this, besides this mall, Northfield Square Mall, one of my local malls in Illinois, which is losing its JCPenney this next month, leaving it just the cinemas and a handful of inline stores and was a Paul Mitchell Academy. Yeah. It's horrible. Well, the other ones out here in Georgia,
This was a JCPenney.
Gwinnett Place Mall. Like, y'all are very intimately familiar with all that I've documented there. Like, yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I admit it. Because
Closed as of May
it's the
1st.
deadest mall I've ever been to. Besides this one.
So that's been a while. Classes in an hour, just like Wednesday.
And this is really the first mall I was able to document before it closed. Which, I don't know, it's sad to see it in this state, knowing that it would be closing in coming months and have pretty much everything auctioned out of there. I at least managed to document this place. Not as much as I probably wanted to,
Looks like the trade remodeling this for something, and that didn't pan out.
but it was still done nonetheless. And I guess this is to make up for me not getting back to Lincoln Mall and seeing it one last time before it closed up 5 years ago. I don't know, it honestly still bothers me.
Let's see if there's anything interesting over here.
Maybe it's why I do this. Partially, at least.
Budget truck rental.
The other part is the sense of adventure.
This looks like
Being
this
there,
used to be
seeing
Apple
something,
Tuesday.
evoking feelings of yesteryear. I mean, that's why some of y'all come watch videos like this. Right? To bring back
Yeah.
a good memory or two. While they may not
MG Malls, Mall Marketing Specialists.
begin anew, you at least have those feelings.
I can't really read this out, but let's see. Kids Foot Locker, Belk, JCPenney, Sears, Sci-Fi City, Sprint, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Verizon Wireless, Regal Cinemas, Milan, Regal Tuxedo, Hot Topic, Pop Demand, Yellow Gown, Victoria's Secret. All these places that are not even a thing anymore in here. It's amazing.
Amazing indeed.
I'm surprised that there's a Avis and budget right here, though.
But it's good that y'all come along with my adventures, so you could see
I guess.
what I see. Even if I'm hobbling around
Storefront.
with my noisy
That's the old
keys.
90s storefront.
And I'm sorry about that. I wish I could do something a little bit better in post-production besides
Yeah, but
messing with audio levels, but I'm not experienced enough to where I can just completely squelch it. And what's funnier is that I had
yeah.
probably a fracture in my leg while filming this. From when I injured myself,
All the old
probably,
displays.
what, 3 months before? So my off-kilter walking is, well, even worse.
Or they'll just all stay here.
Which,
I'll probably get shipped back.
I'm
to the
still
north and
dealing
just
with.
Stay here and rot.
I'm wearing a damn boot because of that crap. But you know what? Hasn't stopped me. Isn't gonna stop me from going on my adventures and having fun with my friends. Yeah, it hurts like hell. But you know what? If I'm willing to grin and bear it for the aesthetic, so be it. Yeah, I'm a little out there, a little dedicated. But yeah, let's go with dedicated. But you know what? I'm having fun. And I know friends that watch this really love some of this stuff, so
Yeah, clothing store.
do it for the art.
Yeah. There's one in Town Center Mall like this with that kind of entrance.
And I'd do it again.
Hey, I found a hot topic.
So thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. It's exposed to the air. Yeah, it looks like, no, it's a dome up on top, but it looks like that there's no cover. Yeah.
Doesn't help the situation. Just by getting further back into a store with warmer.
Yeah.
As I begin to wrap this up, me and Nate headed back over to the area where the former Prophets was and seen a little play area.
I want to know what some of these places are.
A whole lot of empty spaces and,
In fact, I'm going to find out.
well, empty souls. I did find out a couple of places. You'll see at the
Well, I mean, this one's obvious.
mall directory as I go through the mall guts at the end of the video. Because one of them was a Foxmoor.
Gymboree.
Now, for those not familiar with Foxmoor, that was a women's clothing brand back in the 80s and early 90s.
It's funny.
And has been closed since the early 90s. As you see the Gymboree and the things remembered, the very obvious ones.
Yeah.
And to think malls without pretty much all this now since it all sold on the auctions earlier this year. Hopefully it's all in good hands.
Pretty sure this used to be Things Remembered right here. Things Remembered.
And not too much has been
They
destroyed.
need like watch stuff, jewelry, repair. They're kind of bougie.
No, I never got heard, so that makes sense. No. I don't know why I said buffet.
A potty seat.
Belongs in a play area, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to mute so much audio from this.
And you know what?
Right, you don't.
I did.
Sounds alright.
I had to cut off quite a bit. Not because of, just because of things said, but just
Too easy.
me trying to be a decent editor.
Not entirely anymore.
Trying, anyways. I'm still learning. Do things here and there. And not to have my keys out
What the hell?
on my pants loops while I'm doing this kind of stuff. Because I'm sure some of y'all who stuck around for the end of this video are kind of annoyed by that. And again, I am sorry about that.
Emergency open. Social Security office. Yeah. Yikes.
And now that you see the directory I just mentioned, I'll cut over to the outside and seeing the hills, snow-covered trees, and just a cloudy day. It is a beautiful way to end this video. And I'll see y'all next time for more mall aesthetics.